Encounter is brought to you by the Broome County Council of Churches, where we connect compassion with needs as we inspire growth with dignity. You'll find us in special places throughout the community. For those who remain hungry, we provide meals. For those who are challenged, we build wheelchair ramps. We comfort those who are ill, minister to those who are confined, and we remain an advocate for change and understanding on behalf of every element of our community. Connect and inspire. Encounter the Broome County Council of Churches.
My dear friends, welcome to the Encounter program sponsored by the Broome County Council of Churches. I'm your host today, Mark Kimpland, the pastor at the Endwell United Methodist Church. Moving to the area about 8 years ago, almost one of the immediate ministries and outreach missions that I learned about is found on the back of this t-shirt. There it is. Ramp It Up, which is a part of the Faith and Action through the Broome County Council of Churches. And I know our church here at the Endwell United Methodist Church and other faith-based organizations and volunteer agencies have been a part of this exciting Ramp It Up ministry. And so we have the fortunate circumstance to welcome to the show today Bob Bundy, who is the Ramp It Up coordinator through the Broome County Council of Churches. Bob, welcome to the show. I'm glad we could pull this off.
Thank you. So am I. Had a little difficulty getting logged in, but I'm here now and I'm glad to join you.
It is good. Good. I am so glad that we were able to do this. Why don't we start here? Because I really am looking forward to some of your insights about the Ramp It Up projects and such things. But can you tell our viewers and listeners maybe a little bit about your background, anything you want to share as a autobiographical beginning to our time together? Anything that you'd like to share about yourself?
Well, I turned 29 last week.
You're looking good.
And, no, actually, I was in education for almost 40 years. And I was an industrial arts teacher and also worked in administration. I came to find out about the Ramp It Up program kind of by accident. I was, at the time, I was volunteering out in the child warehouse. And there was a Monday in the wintertime and not much going on at home. So I told my wife I was going to go down and see, give them some help that day. And she said, you better call down, make sure they're open. And I called down, I didn't get anybody. So I went online to see if I could find somebody I could contact or see if they had on the calendar, if they were open or not. And I bumped into an advertisement that they're looking for a Ramp It Up coordinator. So Ramp It Up kind of found me. I came in and interviewed with Dr. Joe and interviewed with Sue Spencer. And despite my interview, they did end up hiring me. And I've been here for 6 years with them and have enjoyed every minute of it.
Oh, that is awesome. Now, had you heard of the ministry prior to that interview and such, or were you aware of it and such?
I was aware of it, yes.
Okay. So to the novice out there that has not heard of Ramp It Up or has no idea even what it might be, can you give our listeners and viewers kind of a snapshot, a synopsis of what the program truly is?
Well, the program really gives folks that are homebound due to mobility issues a great deal of hope. Over the years, I've encountered a number of folks that, because of what we were able to do for them in installing a ramp, gave them freedom to get in and out of their homes for the first time in some cases, many, many years. Your church group worked with them about 3 weeks ago and provided a ramp for a client. And at that time, she was relying on her brother to physically carry her in and out of the house. And this woman is very dynamic, full of life, drives, was a recent amputee, is going through with the process to get a thesis. And that's the thing that really reaches out to not only the youth, but also the adults that participate in the program about what a life-changing event this can be for people that sometimes I think we take it for granted.
Yeah.
How everybody really wants to be independent, and due to circumstances, they're not. I can relate to that. I was in a pretty severe automobile accident probably 20 years ago now, and I was homebound for 90 days. I broke both my ankles.
Wow.
So I couldn't bear any weight. So I was in a chair for 90 days. And I had an acquaintance in the neighborhood build a ramp for me. Wasn't quite up to specs like we build today with the American with Disabilities Act. And first time I went down the ramp, I really went out into the garage in a big hurry. But just being able to do that, to
good
get out of the house, down to the garage on a different level. And at that point, I was I couldn't drive because both of my feet were immobilized. So, but that was just such a relief when, the only thing you can do is wheel through the house and on the level that you're on, unless there's the suitable structures to get you up and down the place.
Yeah. So you really have some personal investment and understanding of what people, at least in some way, are going through being housebound and not able to get out.
That's true. Yes.
Yeah. Now, one of the intriguing things about this ministry, since I've learned of it about 8 years ago, is that this is a youth initiative. And I was always struck by that. How did that come to be, or perhaps why is that? What can you share with our viewers and listeners? It's one thing for a group of people to come together, build a ramp. It's wonderful. It's fantastic. But there's a connection there with the youth in the area. Can you just kind of explain that, or the origin of all that?
I'm not really sure of the origin of it, but what it allows, the opportunity that it provides to young people and also the adults that come to help us and supervise them, is it's a real life lesson in giving back to the community. Like the ramp that we built a couple of weeks ago, there was over $2,000 worth of materials in that ramp. And if a person was to go out and hire that done by a contractor or something, the price would be double or triple of that. So many times it's out of the reach of those folks. And, we try and stress with the youth that, that ramps are expensive. I share the cost with them and tell them how much it costs per foot. And that through the generosity of the members of Broome County, we are funded strictly by donations. So it gives them, it teaches them the importance of giving back to the community financially, but also through your deeds, through spending the time to actually help a person. And it is a pretty big time commitment, especially for a teenager, because we can usually build a ramp in a day and a half. The first day we gather sometime afternoon, and we accept the materials, sort them, and start preparing them and getting things ready. And that's a time that I like to have the adults come so that we can review with the adults our expectations of how to supervise the kids, teach them a little bit about how to build the different portions of the ramp, because a lot of times these folks have no experience in building, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
We provide them with everything.
Okay.
We provide them with the tools, the materials, the know-how, and we help them to help the students, get involved and actually build the ramp. And one of the things that's really telling, for this project we did with your church several weeks ago, we always like to have the group, if they can, remain until the very end when the ramp is completed, because we always invite the recipient to come out and try the ramp for the first time and get a photo with everybody. Teenagers and life in general, it's very busy, so that doesn't always happen. But if somebody's participated during the day and they're actually there when the person for the first time in years in some cases is able to independently leave their home and get down to the sidewalk or the driveway or wherever. It's almost a once in a lifetime experience.
Sure.
The emotions that are expressed by these folks, and it really drives home what a difference the kids have made in making this ramp possible for those individuals.
Yeah. Yeah. Friends, we have as our guest today, Bob Bundy, who is the Ramp It Up coordinator with the Broome County Council of Churches. And Bob, one of the things that I've seen in my 8 years here, and it's always a neat time with our youth, is when we're preparing for the next ramp or the next year or whatever it is and such things, we'll ask the kids, who has been a part of all of this? You know, who's done the ramp before, who's been a part of this? And they just pipe right up to those who haven't been, and they're the greatest promoters in the world. You know, they'll kind of take the new kids through all of that, and that's just so exciting to hear.
Well, it's the T-shirts. I mean, the one you held up earlier. That's why they in all seriousness, they really do learn a great life's lesson in participating in these projects. And your person over there, Dave Alexander, I've worked with him now for 6 years. Just a wonderful person. Hats off to him and what he's able to do with these kids and for these kids and taking the time to participate in this endeavor.
Oh, man. Absolutely. Well, tell us a little bit. There may be folks that are watching or listening to this program and such things that might benefit from a ramp. What is the application process, or how do you discern who does, who doesn't? How can you kind of describe to us that process that goes on?
Yes, the process of determining who we're going to build a ramp for is probably the most challenging part of this job. And we are not a first come, first serve operation. I've been charged with providing assistance to those folks that demonstrate the most need. And we do that through the application. And once I've received the application, I make a home visit to meet them, to determine their needs, involve them in where they would like the ramp located, and to the best of our ability, we locate it where it's most convenient for them. So to get involved with the program, it's as simple as calling us, and we do have applications online. We are having a little bit of difficulty with our online applications, but if they call my office, I will send them an application, and it usually takes a week or so to process that, and hopefully we'll be at the point where I can make an appointment with them to come out and see exactly what they need. A lot of people ask, well, I don't know if I can afford this, and the majority of ramps that we install are cost-free. We do utilize a sliding scale based on the current poverty index the United States government puts out. And for anybody that's 250% above, 250% below the poverty index, there's no charge to ramps. And then for 4.5 times the poverty rate, or 450%, we utilize a sliding scale.
Okay.
And it jumps in 10% increments. Occasionally, we do have people that we ask them if they can contribute 20-30% of the cost of the materials. And always we work with them. If it's going to create a hardship for them, then we waive that requirement.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really a simple process. It's I think a two-page application, and then another form that allows us to come on site onto the property.
What about the elephant in the room here? Here we are coming at the end part, I hope, by the grace of God, of COVID and all of the challenges and such things. What are the biggest challenges? What were the biggest challenges during that time, and now coming out of that with the prices of lumber and all of that? Where are you there?
Well, it was disheartening last year that we couldn't get out the build, but we certainly understood why. Currently, I have probably 60 active applications. And this is the thing that's difficult about managing this ministry, is we typically will build between 15 and 18 ramps. And, I've had people that have applied 3 or 4 years ago that we still haven't been able to go out and help, because I have people come in that have, been in an accident or have just had a leg amputated, or they have to have a power wheelchair, and power wheelchair, you really need a ramp to get in and out of the house. And we give those folks priority before we service people that are still able to be mobile through the use of a walker or crutches or other devices that they would use to get around. And that's the hardest part of this, because when somebody calls in, they need the ramp now.
Yes, yeah, or they want to call in. Yeah,
2 weeks or 2 months or 2 years. They want to know, when you can get out here, within the next couple of weeks. And unfortunately, our program does not work that way. We are able to react to the people that apply and have a great deal of need, because the way we schedule, we keep slots open so that if a high needs case comes in, we are still able to work them into the schedule.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But that's the hardest thing right now of managing the program is, how do you still provide people with hope and tell them, well, you may have to wait 3 years.
Yeah.
Because somebody may call in that has just had an amputation, and they can't get around,
Right.
get in and out of the house unless they have a ramp. And it's difficult for anybody in that situation. I know that. I've been there.
Been there, done that. Yeah.
As far as the costs go, costs are still bouncing around. In 2019, a piece of 2x6 by 10-foot lumber was about $10. Today, it's about $25. So we have to rely on the generosity of the community to be able to keep up with the donations to be able to on the ramps. Plus, Sue Spencer, who is the director of Faith in Action, is very good about obtaining grants, and the grant money is used to offset the cost of materials. And I've been with the program for 6 years, and we've never had to deny a ramp to anybody for lack of funds. So
that's great. That's
all
great.
the people who work behind the scenes here to make what I do possible. They're doing a terrific job. And keep it up, everybody.
Yeah, there you go. Friends, we have as our guest today, Bob Bundy, who is the Ramp It Up Coordinator through the Broome County Council of Churches. Let me ask this question too, Bob, and I kind of probably asked this out of ignorance, but as you describe those issues, who does, who gets one, who doesn't, how long it'll take and such things, what's the biggest hurdle you have, let's say, or are there plans through the council to scale this, or is it kind of what it's going to be because of where we are, whether with costs or staffing or something like that? I mean, is it a scaling problem to do that, of what you just described about getting to more people?
I believe it is. Currently, when I talked to my wife about joining this program, she thought it was a great idea. I've worked with kids all my life. It gave me the opportunity to do that once again. It gave me the opportunity to teach and also do something that's worthwhile for the community. But it takes away from your home life. And we are both retired, and being tied up most Fridays and Saturdays during the summer is difficult to say the least. But
I would imagine, yes.
We've been able to work around that and scale things back that way. And I try and keep my participation in the program to around 20 hours a week.
Okay.
And so there's definitely, we have the need. The council is aware of the need that we have, and I'm really not sure where they're at in terms of expanding our ability to service more people.
Sure.
The amount of time that I spend just on, working with the clients, taking a look at the applications, making a visit to their home to see exactly what they need. That's one big part of it, but we also have a couple of retired engineers that work with us. So once I've looked at the project and it looks like it's something that we'll be able to do, and I get approval from the council to do it, I involve them. I show them my preliminary sketches of the project. They go out and recheck what I've done, because elevation is such a critical factor in this.
Sure.
And most folks don't realize when they call in, I just want a ramp to go from my door down to the sidewalk. Well, how many steps do you have? 5.
Yeah.
Well, 5 steps. The average step is 7 to 8 inches. So let's say it's 7 inches. You're going to need 35 feet. And they cut me out. What do you mean 35 feet? I just want it to go over the steps.
Yeah.
I said, geez, sorry, we have to get this permitted and build it to American with Disability Act standards.
Yes.
It's not quite that simple.
Right. Right.
So that's always a challenge.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let me ask this. The person that's watching and listening to us, that's learning much about this program, what recommendations could you give for their involvement? How can people help? In what ways can they help? Can you shed any light on that?
Well, the obvious way anybody can help is to make a donation to the Broome County Council of Churches and earmark the Ramp It Up program, and that money will be devoted to buying materials for the program. Another way, it's according to how much time people have and how much they want to get involved, is we're always looking for a team organizer, the role that Dave Alexander performs for you folks. And the best ratio that works for us in terms of a build team being present so that I have a safe work site and I can keep everybody busy is 8 youth and 4 adults. And we try and break them up that way, where an adult is working with 2 of the youth and doing whatever assignment we give them. You get many more people than that, and it's difficult for me to keep everybody busy. And when you have teenagers, a group of them around, and their hands are idle, some things happen. A lot of organizations are fortunate enough where they have, a great many people that want to participate, and we can accommodate them by having a group of 2 or 3 groups come in, where they come in for a half a day each or a third of the day or something like that. And that's worked out very, very well for us in the past. So that would be the biggest thing: become an organizer, organize a team for your organization. And if you're not quite up to that, don't have the time or have the interest, volunteer within your organization. Bring it up. Usually if you bring something up, though, you're going to be charged with the person that's going to organize it. So
yeah.
But that's a great way. And the thing that I tell folks is that you don't need a thing to participate and ramp it up except desire to help someone. We will supply all the tools, all the materials, all the know-how, the supervision, and if you work with us, you will be able to produce a ramp in a day to a day and a half for somebody in the community that would really benefit from.
How would people contact you, Bob, or the council? What's the best way for them to reach out if their spirit is moved by what we've been talking about here? What's the best way to reach out to you?
My email address is rbundy, RBUNDY, at Broome Council, BROOMECOUNCIL.net. The phone number, and I'll have to grab my card here to tell you the number.
Yeah, no problem.
I can be reached at 607-724-9130. That's 607-724-9130, and it's extension 323.
Awesome. Well, I always like to ask the folks that are guests on the program, this question, and I'm anxious. I think I've heard a little bit of the answer and such things. How has this impacted you spiritually, emotionally, as a man? How has it affected you?
It's it it really gives me a focus on how blessed I am as a human being and a Christian to see the blessings that have been given to me by God, and with having those blessings, it gives me the ability to bless others. I would say that's the most significant part of participating in this ministry.
Yeah.
And again, it's there's so many things that I've encountered over the years with people. I remember one build. It was on a small piece of land. It was a very difficult to arrange. It was difficult to get up into the property, and I had to go back numerous times to we review with the engineers. This probably won't work. You need to go get this measurement, and I'd go back with them. And I was up there one time, and I was backing down out of the driveway, and I slipped down into the ditch and got stuck.
Oh, gee.
And the person was he was less than pleased with what I had done. But in the end, at the end of the day, when we were wrapping things up, I never expected this. The guy came up to me and just looked at me, and you could see that he was welling up, and he gave me a man hug. And said,
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, awesome.
Doesn't get any better than that.
Absolutely. Well, Bob, I thank you so much for taking this time to share this very important ministry. And I encourage all of our listeners and viewers to get involved at whatever level that you can be involved, whether it be financially or hands-on. And again, Bob, thank you so much for your wisdom. Thank you for your hard work. And thank you for caring enough to reach out to those that have this very special need in their lives. Thank you so much.
My pleasure,
Friends,
and thank you.
it's been great to have Bob Bundy, the Ramp It Up coordinator of the Broome County Council of Churches, with us this morning. I thank you for joining us, and I hope and pray that God will grace you throughout your days ahead. Have a wonderful day.